Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It's Saturday, February 10th. So I thought today we would talk about the Oofy Doofy syndrome. I think that's how it's pronounced. Whatever it takes, I had to look it up. I had never heard that before. But it makes for common sense. I mean, well, hang tight. We'll talk about it. Alright, so we first have to explain what the Oofy Doofy Theory is. It's simply hot looking chicks or good looking women, by some definition, settling for somebody that's not as attractive. You know, and why shouldn't it make it common sense? How are most of you guys and gals meeting each other now? Online. And a lot of times it's through chat, text, voice. And most of the time you don't see a picture of that person till later in the relationship. Because people want to keep their personal life private until they get to know you. Whereas the dating scene used to be, you know, girls were around the guys all the time and they picked out who they liked, what their looks, what have you. And a lot of times your prettier girls ended up with your prettier guys. Period. But it hardly ever worked because a lot of times with them being so pretty, they don't have any depth to them. And when I say depth, I mean being more in tune with the other person. Now you take someone that's maybe not a 10, could be an 8, could be a 6. But women want someone that is mature. They want someone who knows who they are. Most often, you're 8s and below by modern standards, that Hollywood and actresses set for the bar and everything. Guys, they're the working guys, all right, blue collar. And most of them have a lot of depth. If you took 10 females on this side and 10 males on this side, put a wall in between them. And we've seen this show on TV. My wife has watched it, and I can't think of what it's called, the dating game or what it is, but they can't physically see each other. So they don't know whether the person on the other side of the wall is gorgeous or Miss Piggy. How else can you put it? So they talk about things. And the one thing that women love is a good listener. Someone that is going to put her on a pedestal. Someone that is going to... She is going to be the princess. And he'll be attentive to her. That's what most women want. You know, if you went by just having the men and women be able to see each other, women are going to probably choose the bulky guy that's a 9.9 or a 10, all right? But they know that it's not going to last. Because the bulky guy, he's on steroids. He's not happy with himself. He's constantly trying to improve himself. The other guy that's close to a 10 is too busy combing his hair and doing a pedicure and saying, I'm not gay, but looks gay because he's too busy into himself. But those two people represent somebody that are not comfortable in their own skin. They're trying to become better in appearance. And so they lack in other areas. Whereas the average guy, you know, he's going to treat her well. The guy that's a 10 with a comb in his hair, he's not going to put, the princess on that pedestal. He's not even going to think of her as a princess. Not even going to think of her as an equal. Because remember, he thinks he's a 10. And he's spending more time with his appearance than he is with being attentive to her. What do most people want out of life? Really? What do most people want out of life? From a partner. To be loved. For guys, they like to have the gals tell them how good looking they are, or how great they are. I mean, they don't need to hear it per se, but they love hearing it from her. Okay? Because she is the princess to them. And they let her know more ways than one that she is the princess in their eyes. Not only by making sure they buy flowers for her on her birthday, anniversaries, they're just more attentive because they just can't figure out how lucky they got. Right? How lucky they got. And the women sense that. So this goes back to this day and age of dating. The internet lover. My sense is a lot of people are not who they say they are. They try to come off as somebody that they think that everybody else wants them to be. Or they try to come off and emulate somebody or something that they look up to or that they gravitate towards to. Superman, for all I know. But if you were to sit down in front of a computer or on the phone, what do you think the guy that's closer to a 10 that's constantly combing his hair, calling himself beautiful, what kind of responses do you think that, and how attentive is he going to be with her online? And who is he really looking for? He's looking for the 10 model-wise, looks-wise. But he doesn't care whether she's shallow or not. And I got news for you folks. There are a lot of beautiful women out there that are not shallow. Tons of them. That are good looking. And they've got a lot of depth and a lot of love. And they should be being treated as princesses. I think the Oofy Doofy syndrome theory was brought about from that guy that is rated a 10 that's combing his hair, that I'm still thinking to this day that he must be gay because he's so interested in himself and he loves a mirror when he gets around it. Right, gals? He's just somebody that hasn't come out yet. So I think that's the first time I've ever heard of this theory, but that's my take on it. Because women are chatting with guys, and they can pick out a fake when you start having a time in, and how attentive the guy is online with her, and how punctual, and like I said in a prior video, I think that's probably where you picked up on it, is when women get ready to settle down, they're not looking for the prettiest boy out there. They're looking for someone that's got a job, which is few and far between, but works, help wanted everywhere. So that, number one, they got to have a job. They need their own place. They can't be living at home with mom in their old bedroom, or worse yet, in the basement. So they got to have a job. They got to have their own place, even if they're just renting. Most often a car is preferred so that they can get places. But is down to earth. And is okay with himself. See, that's a big thing. You think that a guy that maybe isn't a 10 per se, and this is what pisses me off sometimes, because who's defining who's a 10, who's not, right? It's Hollywood. It's movies. It's the stuff you see on Netflix. Oh, they got to be, perfect looker to be a 10. No, they don't. In my eyes, a 10 is someone that has their shit together and is all wrapped into one. And that may fall into the Oofy Doofy theory as a 6. But to me, they're a 10 because they've got their crap together. Right? But they're out there hustling. They're out there working hard. And they want a family. And the women want someone that's going to be very attentive towards them. Their needs, their wants. And are they going to be a good father? That's a big thing. Or are you just going to be a sperm donor? I mean, that's the easiest way to say it. And when it comes to women, a lot of guys that are up there in that so-called 10 category don't want kids. They're so wrapped up in themselves. They don't want to have it, to share it with anybody else, per se, right? And I'm not saying the guys that are good looking that are down to earth. They're not a 10, as Hollywood puts it. If you've got looks and you've got depth and you can show that gal that you truly love her and that you're working, have your own place, car, steady job, and you want a family, you can pick and choose. But if you're sitting at home in your apartment on a Game Boy or on a game machine, when she told you she wants to have a family, she doesn't include you as one of the kids. So you need to stop acting like one of the kids and get off the sofa or out of your game chair and shut the thing off for a while. So a lot of guys are living in fantasy with these different headsets. And yeah. Pretty quick, we aren't going to need the opposite sex, right? We just poof. I'm waiting to see it happen where, guy and a girl are going to have sex, and the guy says, well, hold on, let me put my headset on so I can pick a different one to... That makes the girl feel comfortable and loved, right? I'm not any Dr. Phil. He could probably be more analytical. I'm more Dr. Eric in that it's common sense. Common sense says this is why. Think about it. Well, we'll start wrapping this up. Along that same line, you had mentioned that women were looking for guys that were more submissive. You gotta be careful that you don't confuse submissive and attentive. There is a difference. Women are not looking for somebody that they can boss around. They aren't. What they are looking for is someone that comes into the relationship as an equal. A relationship will never work when one has all the power and the other one is submissive. It may work in, other cultures, and even here in the States in the early days, that the guy was the protector and made all the choices, and the females just had babies and took care of them. We aren't there anymore, folks. So that to end the video for today, women are looking for a certain type of guy that is going to be attentive to them, is going to be mature, not submissive, attentive, and has got a lot of their crap together. And is also looking to start a family. But you can't rely on them finding you. You need to go looking for them as well. And don't ever base a relationship on looks alone. It just ain't going to work. So on that note, you guys have a great Saturday. What a topic. Never heard of it before until you mentioned it. And that's my take on it. Alright guys, we'll catch you later.